If you really want to find out if someone is lying to you deliberately, all you have to do is find out what they are not telling you. Don't listen to what they are telling you, because what they are telling you obviously is in their interest. They will play it safely, but rather what they're not telling you. And also the level of distraction and misinformation that they will employ in order to keep you deceived and misinformed. I say that to you quite simply. Jesus said, for the poor you will always have. No church pastor, no government has ever shared. In fact, Matthew covered it, Mark covered it, and John, which tells you it's very important. Jesus says, you will always have the poor. And the oppressed. But why is it that the government, the churches, church leaders don't want you to meditate on those words? For the simple reason they are scared that you will awaken to find out how you are being manipulated to remain poor while they become rich and you're worshiping them. You will become aware of the state of the New World Order, the rich at the top and you're at the bottom. They're scared that you will wake up and realize, as Jesus says. When Jesus said those words, the poor you will always have, he was actually saying that corruption, greed is what the world is built on. Well, what's interesting is that the IMF, despite Rishi Sunak trying to pretend that he cares about the poor, notice his government has never covered anything on the cost of living, poverty. His government has not even dealt with empty shelves. How did they keep you distracted? How? How did the government keep you distracted from focusing on your families? How did they brainwash you? How did they deceive you and get money out of you that you couldn't afford? Think about it. What have they focused on recently to keep you ignorant? You see, in an article, the IMF said that Britain is doing worse than any other European country. Britain is doing extremely badly, despite they said if the IMF is right about UK inflation, Rishi Sunak, says the article, is doomed. Rishi Sunak has staked his premiership largely on his ability to fix the British economy. He wants to fix the British economy, even though Britain now, the banks are saying, are officially in a recession or going to drift into a recession. But he's going to fix the economy. He hardly didn't want to increase pay rise for the nurses. Nurses were eating out of food banks, but he's going to fix the economy. There are many starving families but he's going to fix the economy. Don't you really think that he means looking after multinational companies? Which is why Jesus says the poor, the gullible, the uneducated, people who want to be deceived. You will always have with you, because the poor will not wake up. The poor won't see what the government's doing, conquering and dividing, distraction tactics, making you fight amongst each other while the rich get richer, because the poor can't be bothered to work out how the system works. Well, we had COVID, we had the pandemic, we had natural fires that broke out, we had the war in Ukraine and Russia. Now China is now stirring up, saying they want to go for Taiwan. Can't you see that God is shaking this planet? America has now lost her dollar. Can't you see what's happening? Can't you see the earth foundation is being shaken? Can't you see? But still the poor, they put their trust in the government, the lying, thieving government, than they do the word of God. They don't want you to think. They're scared if you start to use your brain. They become terrified. Because when you start to use your brain, you will start to realize that you have been manipulated. This is not just the church controlling you for your tithes and manipulating you, but the government too. The poor, you will always have with you. All this how to get rich pyramid scheme, you know, these prosperity preachers are promoting, while they're getting rich and the poor, now you casting $1 or two to win the lottery rather than buy a glass of milk or something and putting food in the table. You're paying, trying to get yourself out of poverty. And the poor people, they fall for this gimmick. This is why Jesus says the poor you will always have with you, but me you won't. These rather disturbing Bible verses that we do not meditate on in order to see the impact of the deception that these leaders are doing. Mr. Sunak saying he's going to fix the economy. When have rich people ever cared about poor people? When has rich people ever cared about your life? That they're going to fix the economy to benefit you? No. I made a couple of videos on Brexit prophecy, you know, based on a prophetic dream I had. I said the earth is going to be shaking up. Now Britain is doing the Britain that pushes this woke agenda, this liberal agenda, the satanic agenda, which attacks Christians. And they really think, Dixie, I'm a bit tired, I'm be sleeping properly. And they think that somehow they're going to rise above this. Britain and America doesn't realize that the wrath of God is on them. God is just warming up. He's just warming up. Right? For all you people putting your trust in your government and you can't even put food on your table. You think your government is God and your government not even delivering. Not even delivering. Not even playing God properly. Well, we will see. We will see what happens to your government who think they're invincible. The dollar has already, no country wants the dollar. Britain is now in a recession. Can't you see God shaking the earth? And there is far worse to come, far worse. Britain thinks you can hide behind the trans agenda. They really think they can hide behind it. That's their magic wand, the trans, the trans, the trans. Well, we will see how far pushing this trans, this woke cancel culture, we will. If you think this is going to deceive people, distract people, we will see how far you get when God begins to stir the seas.